This is Snake. Do you read me, Otacon?
Loud and clear, Snake.
Kept you waiting, huh? I'm at the sneak point.
Everything going okay?
The stealth camo's busted. Landing impact.
We must have overused it. Sorry, but you're gonna have to deal with it. You're not in the military anymore.
Right. I didn't plan on relying on this gadget anyway.
The private sector's not so bad, is it? Privacy guaranteed?
I'm happy as long as no one gives me any more unwanted gifts.
You mean that thing with Naomi?
And I can't say I miss the chattering nanny.
Mei Ling's not so bad. That reminds me, I have to get in touch with her again about that new Natick flashware.
Diverting toys from the SSCEN again? Look, give her a message from me. Someone will find out, sooner or later. She's better off assuming it sooner and quit while she's safe.
Too true. Okay, Snake, let's get to work. You know how the technical specs of Metal Gear were sold on the black market after Shadow Moses?
All Ocelot's doing.
Exactly. And now every state, group, and .com has its own version of Metal Gear.
Not exactly a classified weapon for today's nuclear powers.
It's probably
This
just
new one seems to have been
stagnant in the
designed to
garage.
wipe the floor with all the other models. The only consistent description is that it's an amphibious, anti-Metal Gear vehicle.
That explains why this one is under Marine
so-
Corps jurisdiction.
The mission objective is to make visual confirmation of the new Metal Gear being transported by that tanker and bring back photographic evidence. But I want you first to go up to the top level of the infrastructure, to the bridge. We need to find out where the tanker is headed.
A little reconnaissance, huh?
There's too much we don't know about this new prototype. Capabilities, deployment method, we don't even know how close it is to completion. If we know where the testing arena is, I can start to draw some reasonable conclusions.
All right, I'll head to the bridge ASAP.
Try to avoid confrontations. Our goal is to collect evidence on Metal Gear development and expose it to the world. It would be best if you could get out of there without alerting anyone.
Don't worry, I know the drill. We're not terrorists.
Very good. Don't you forget that you're part of Philanthropy now, an anti-Metal Gear organization and officially recognized by the UN.
Recognized, but still fringe, Otacon.
All right, let's look at your gear. Your weapon is a tranquilizer gun converted from a Beretta M92F.
M9.
It's a little hard to work with because you have to reload after each shot since the slide locks.
Better than scavenging at the mission site. Good suppressor, too.
The chemical stun will take effect in a few seconds.
They don't look armed.
Hey, Earth to Snake. These are nice, upstanding Marines, not terrorists. Don't get caught. You're in stealth mode here.
Sure, and if it comes to that, a little beauty sleep never hurt anyone. By the way, Otacon, are you sure of this intelligence?
Absolutely. Hacked it out of the Pentagon's classified files myself.
No traces?
Oh, please, I'm too good for that.
But this might be a trap. Remember, there's a price on our heads.
You're just being paranoid.
I hope so. Those men, you wouldn't think they were anything but civilians from here.
With all the ships passing on the river and in the harbor, putting uniformed Marines on the deck would be a bad idea.
Hey, how you doing, bud? Hopefully you can hear me, unless I fucked up some settings somehow.
Russians?
Should be able to hear me.
You sure?
No Marine barber touched that head of hair. I'm transmitting a photo. Let's get an ID on him ASAP.
I'm on it.
Looks like the tanker's theirs now. K-60 Kasatka.
Kasatka? Kamov chopper, right? Killer whale.
We need to get a fix on who they are.
Judging by their transport, aren't they some kind of military commandos?
Not necessarily. It could be the KA-62, the civil model.
YouTube isn't letting me
Look, Snake,
update my
all
stream
we
data
need is the
just from
photographic evidence of
Streamlabs,
Metal
so
Gear.
that's annoying.
As long as we have those, we can put it online and blow the whole thing wide open. So
Okay.
no pyrotechnics, okay?
Cool. Well, I'll go ahead and get to work. So basically the goal here, I'm going to show you guys how, or what it looks like to have a game that has dynamic memory ranges. And having dynamic memory range basically means that the memory range where key components, like in this case, is going to be ammo, health, etc., etc., those ranges are, like, they constantly change. And to do that, first and foremost, we're going to connect and we're going to locate our ammo. Now I already have a pretty good idea of where it's at, because I've done this game several times. So I'm not really going to get too much into what I'm doing and how I'm finding. Okay. Oh, okay, that might help. So I'm using ProDG for our debugger, and if you can see this range up over here, you can see the value right there is changing from D down to C, B, etc. You can see that the ammo is going down in game. If I were to change that, you can see I now have 21 bullets in the gun. So basically, and I'll give you an example. You guys can watch the screen up here in ProDG. I will die.
What's going on? Snake! Snake!
Now, as soon as that happens, the game's going to refresh and change where all that data was stored. And, well, actually, I got pretty lucky because it didn't shift that much. It only shifted by a couple bytes, because it's right back up here now. You can see I changed that to 20, which is 32, which showed up right in my inventory there. So, the key point that we need to do right here is we're going to set a breakpoint to where our ammo is at, like so. It only works in bytes of 8, so we gotta change that to a 4, or to a 0, excuse me. And we're gonna shoot. The game itself froze, and you saw in ProDG here, it has broken, which is what we are wanting. So I'm gonna set a breakpoint there. Get rid of these two. Turn off auto refresh because that messes me up every single time. And just so we don't keep running into issues, let's break through it, and there we go. There's a couple different things that we can do here. If, just as an example of what all you can do in ProDG, right here is the subtraction function. So if I nullify that, if I do that, we can see here sub f means that it is subtracting how does that work? Basically, it's taking the value stored, or it's taking the value stored in R3 and subtracting it by R31. So if I were to take the value stored in R31, and let's replace that, or let's put that at 20, so it's going to subtract 32. Hit start. All right, play it. Didn't like that, probably because we still have a hardware breakpoint, so disable that. And we play. As you can see, it has deplenished all of my ammo. But that's easy enough to fix. We just go back up here and do that. Anyway, rough idea on how these functions work, so I'm just going to shoot my gun once more. And if we look into this actual function to see what we're trying to achieve right here, let's go down to where it broke. We're going to step into this a little bit. So the value stored in R29, which is this pointer address, that's going to be where our ammo is subtracting from. And I'll change this to 2 bytes so that you guys can, let's do, damn it. 1. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So as you can see, it's a 2-byte array and it starts at A06. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that. I'll change that back to 4 bytes just because it's going to be a lot easier. But this is pretty much where we're going to be making our edits. So this is the pointer for our weapons, but let's do something that's going to be a little bit more reliable. I'm going to go through that. Let's find something like health. And just from playing through this game, I know that these 2 digits here are going to be health, 0064 and 0064. The second set of bytes right here is going to be what your maximum health is compared against. So if I change that value, it's, well, A, it's going to just constantly rewrite itself, but yeah, there's any number of different things that we can do with it. So anyway, what we need to do, set a breakpoint here. You can find that address like this. Set it to on write. It constantly writes, so it's going to break immediately. We'll set our breakpoint right up here. Uncheck that. We'll hit F5 again to see if it's going to be breaking the same spot over and over, which it is. So we can disable the breakpoint. Let the game run. We'll turn auto off. Now we can let the game run and we can kind of look at a few things that are happening in the code here. So this right here is going to be the top of the function. You can see just from breaking that, we're going to read through. Our pointer address is right here. No, that's not correct. Our pointer address is going to be R24 right here, and health is written at R24 plus FA. We could take out our calculator. If you guys remember what the what that address that we were looking at before was. We'll take the value stored in R24, add FA, and that gives us a 2. Which is going to be our health. That entire section right there is our health. What we can do from here, because we know that R24 is going to contain the data for our pointer, all we got to do is write a little bit of code that will force the data stored in R24 to a section that we can easily read from. And we're going to be using R3. This is just a standard address that points to just some default point in memory. I don't remember exactly what this is used for, but we're going to use it. I'm not sure why you're not working. Input string is not incorrect on that. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see if you'll still... Oh, yeah, it's still gonna work. Anyway, any old hoot. I do have something already set up. Which it doesn't seem to want to do. Okay. Okay, so, yes, you are. Oh, that's frustrating. Bear with me. CodeWizard seems to have taken a big ol' crap on you. What's down here? Hey now. There's always something with this one. Always. Every time. Never just goes off. Oh. Okay, for whatever reason that's working now. Anyway, so I did already mock up a little bit of code. Damn it. Give you a run through of what we're doing. So, STW24 20 to R13. What this is saying is it is taking the data stored in R24, if you recall. Do that. Value stored in R24 is the pointer address that we want to jump to, or that we want to print. We're taking this value, we are adding it to this value plus 20, so it's going to be 7080, which will be this this right here. So it's going to print R24, this highlighted section in blue, into this address up here. That's what that does. This line right here. This line right here, because we don't want to just break the game, it still needs to do what the function is designed to do, and it is quite literally just this same function, STH, restore half word, R11 FA 24. So it's the same thing. And then we jump back to 4 bytes past where we're breaking. It's writing that. That doesn't make sense. Let's see. This thing's been jacked up already, so let's, yeah, okay. Let's give it a shot. Bein. Start here. Right. There we go. Don't know why I decided it didn't want to do what it was supposed to do, but now it's doing what it's supposed to do. Now all we have to do, go back to this address here. As you can see, it's writing our address. I'll leave link, or I'll leave exactly what I did down below, but just so you guys have a better visual representation of what we're doing right here, I'm gonna make this super simple. Get a nice little label. That sounds good. What do y'all think? Yeah, cool. And timer. Aim to the timer. We'll say label 1. Oops, might help if I could spell label 1 correctly. The data that's at the this address. And then you want to print it as a string. And just like that. And then up here in our connection dialog, we're going to say timer 1 is enabled based on the return value of our boolean, which, as you can see, connection right here connects to the PS3 and attaches all at once, and we can see it functions right around here. This is where it gets called. That's just a real super simple basic thing. Then there, now we see our pointer address. As you can see in game, I will go ahead and jump ship. Literally.
Snake, respond! Snake! Snake!
Oh, holy crap. I didn't expect to see you in here for a while. How you been, bud? As you can see right there, our pointer address changed. Not by much, though. So, what we can do with this, there's a few different things we can do with it, honestly. For one, I'll go ahead and I will take this address and I'll go here. Go to it. What I want to do is to find and monitor the weapon ammo, or in this case it's going to be the M9, which is going to be these 2 bytes right down there. So what we do, we go down here, find that address, and then take our calculator, and we're going to subtract it by the pointer value. So we get 15E. That's going to be very important. Let's say this will always return our pointer variable. So we can just do that. Okay. Just so you can see it working. Boom. Now I can reference pointer without having to retype this every single time, which will be very nice. What we can do here is, let's say I want to find the integer value, which actually it's going to be a short. So I want the short value of our M9 ammo. And that's going to be the read value of our pointer plus the number that we were looking at before. I believe was 153. No, 15E. My mistake. I don't think that isn't. That's whatever. Okay. Now, what we can do pretty much the same thing. So we're just thinking that. That's going to print the pointer plus what our current M9 is. In 2 lines. Okay. Let's see. Because I was printing the hex value, not the ammo value. Now, I'm not sure how well you can see it in the game view, but it says I have 16 bullets. Oops, I seem to have bumped something. There we go. You can see it changes on there. And that'll even work after Snake is long dead. What's up, Jody? How you been, bud?
Snake! Snake!
You can see the pointer changed, and so did my current ammo count. But it's still fine. And that is the basics of a pointer function. Oh shit, nothing's wrong. That's fine. Everything is fine. Alright, so now, what we can do with this bit of information, let's make a simple little button. That's a happy little button. What this button will do need to get the actual offset by doing it this way. I'm not reading what's at this location. I am just doing a bit of math to take the value that's stored here and adding that amount to it so that I can, hi puppy, so that I can just do stuff like this. Do M9 offset, and let's say 532, because why not? Okay, do that, connect, hit button, and now I have 532 bullets. Pretty cool stuff. Nice and easy. And this will work because of the backend code that we already inputted. This right here, which we could include. We could actually just make a function that does that. So, this data. Doesn't C++. Oop. And if you guys don't know the way that CodeWizard is set up, is it's designed to just plug it into NetCheat and function. So this would be your address, and this would be the bytes that it's writing. So I'm just going to make them all units, because that's fine. Original address equals this. I'll hit the equals button. Address equals this. And the cave address is just, where we are inputting our custom code, because it's longer than 4 bytes. And then let's see if I can get away with doing some craziness. Data pack 1 equals that. Data pack 2 equals what are you doing up there, little X? Yeah. And then we can just do the units. 1. Oh, might have put it up. Address data 2, 3, and 4. And we'll just let's do this. Easy. Now, we can do some fun stuff. We could say, if well is less than 532, then offset each. And actually, why don't we just plug that into our time, just for fun. $532, and it's just gonna keep rewriting. That's it. There's a lot that you can do with pointers. You can build structs, you can do just so much with them. And I mean, this will work with pretty much any game that has a dynamic address, even if it doesn't have a dynamic address. You can reference a pointer. There's a few other things that we can do. So let's take our pointer address, and we'll find the actual function that's writing that pointer data. Really stupid of me to do. Anyway, all we're gonna do, we're gonna search for byte length in hex, and we're gonna search. Wait a second. Oh, no, I'm messed up. We're gonna search for that. Now this is the tricky thing. This will work in most games as well. If you can find that address, then all you gotta really do, reference to that, and you won't even need this. But that doesn't always work. So let's see if this one constantly writes to that pointer address. Okay. Actually, go away. Now what I'll do, die again. Because those two addresses. We'll see if that
Snake,
pointer
what's
there
wrong?
is constantly red.
Snake! Snake!
Which, as you can see, it is, and even furthermore, it's writing quicker than our PPC pointer, because this changed before that changed. Now, what we can do, we can honestly do away with this entire function right here. Don't even need that anymore. And our pointer can actually be equal to that. Just changing what that is, and I'll even show you guys. We can cycle the entire game itself. So in the main menu of the game, it actually shows, it actually gives you like max ammo and stuff like that, and it does that for every Metal Gear game. I really am not sure why. One thing I've always found rather silly. We can actually watch it change in real time. Yeah. Oops, hang on.
The Hudson River, 2 years ago.
It was
We had
raining.
classified intelligence that a new type of Metal Gear was scheduled for transport. The whole thing stank, but our noses... This is...
The mission...
Every single time that it changes
All right, let's
the
look at your
game
gear.
code, it just
Your what?
rewrites that pointer, which is why Metal Gear Solid 2 itself is a rather frustrating game to try and mod.
We need...
Somehow it just kept rewriting it. That's interesting. I guess once a value gets set, it just kind of keeps it. Yeah. So this is a completely fresh run of the game. Now let me show you. This is the function that we originally broke. That's a function that we originally broke. As you can see, that's our pointer, which is the same that's there. And if our modified code were in there, this would break to our cave address here, which, as you can see, at our cave address there's nothing. And this is running off of the in-game pointer. Yeah, that'll honestly about do it for this little informative stream. Probably gonna hop off here for a little bit and go and do something else. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Got questions, just leave a comment or something like that. Thank you all very much.